Hey guys, Happy New Year. I really hope that January has been treating you all well so far. It feels so good to be recording right now. It has been a while, and I'm excited to just share with you a couple of messages. I really wanted to put something out there this week, and so, but I didn't feel inspired, to be honest. You know, we're in, well, where I live, it is winter, but also I'm in a personal season of winter. And so I've been, hibernating and a lot more inward. And I'm also a projector. And for me to feel inspired, I often need invitations. And I just haven't really gotten any because of this space that I'm in, of just needing to rest and replenish and receive, and just kind of taking it easy, going with the flow sort of thing. Because I just had 2 big surgeries in the past month and a half. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. But again, I knew I wanted to put out something. So I was like, okay, I'm just going to sit here and kind of tune in to what wants to come through today for whoever is listening. So immediately when I tuned in to sort of the energy that's sort of around so many of us right now, the possibilities sort of thing. I was seeing how, 2025, I'm seeing a lot of space opening up. Okay, it's like I was seeing in my mind this road up ahead and how this clearing is happening, and just like things are just opening up and more space is being created. And as soon as I said that, I looked down and I saw 222 for like 2 minutes and 22 seconds of recording. Anyways, and so leaning more into that, there was this feeling of there being so many possibilities ahead, but how it truly is up to you to, this is so weird. I've been hearing the song Hold On by Wilson Phillips. And so like the lyrics keep playing, like it's time to break free from the chains. Like you got yourself into your own mess, but like that means that you have the ability and the power to like get yourself out of it. And it's like I'm seeing myself and how I'm the one who kind of wrapped the chains around myself. So it's like I'm able to then unwrap the chains off of myself. But it's so uncomfortable, right? It's so uncomfortable. It's like I'm hearing about developing self-discipline to like go out and get it, to go do the thing, to create the change that you want for yourself, to create these new habits. And I'm a little resistant talking about this because I don't believe in the whole like new year, new me, like I mean, do I want to get into that? It's more of like, we can obviously make these changes for ourselves at any time. That's kind of where I was going with that. But also, again, it's weird that there's a new year in the middle of winter when we're supposed to be more inward and more chill and kind of like, is the word introspective? I don't know. You're reflecting more. You're kind of like taking it easy, right? It's not a time to go out and do all these things or plant seeds and grow them and type of thing, right? But nonetheless, we are also all in our own individual seasons. Just like I explained the season that I'm in, you might be in a completely different season of your life. So you get to kind of gauge where you're at. Either way, I digress. I'm going to kind of go back to what I was saying. Yeah, change is uncomfortable. Growth is uncomfortable. Creating new habits is uncomfortable. I mean, I fail at that all the time. I'm just gonna be honest with you. I'll do something for a few days and feel really good about it, and then I very slowly drift back into old ways, and then there's times where I do start something new and it totally sticks. As soon as I said that, I looked, it's 11:11. I love that. So many synchronicities lately. Anyways, so there's like a balance that needs to be had between self-discipline, but also showing yourself grace, right? Always. It's not about being super hard on yourself or super mean to yourself, but you also got to hold yourself accountable, take responsibility, right? And I was actually just having a conversation with my daughter about that this morning, about how, when we choose to avoid certain things, that means we have to take responsibility for the outcome, like what happens, because I can't remember the word, when you do something and then there's consequences. There we go. Consequences. We have to deal with the consequences of our actions or lack thereof. So, if there's things that you've been putting off for a long time, or again, avoiding, just not doing, even though your intuition has been guiding you to do it, that sort of thing, obviously there's going to be consequences. That's like a very obvious thing. Eventually those things catch up to you, right? And I'm noticing that in my life right now. This isn't me just like telling you what to do or how to live your life or calling you out, whatever. I'm literally relating to literally every word that I'm saying. Anyways, so where are we going with this? Oh yeah, I was hearing also that there's like no magic pill that's going to just like fix everything, right? We're always searching for like the fastest way of getting the results. Yet, if you think of it, like that's not actually how it works. Like, yes, we can manifest, and yes, miracles happen, and yes, like spiritually, and energetically, like it's incredible what you can achieve with your mindset and all that stuff. But at the same time, we are humans living a human experience, and there are very real life things that we have to do to experience real life results. And I just feel like so many of us are being called to, and I say this with, hesitating, we are being called to action. But again, it doesn't mean, okay, get up right now, go run a marathon or whatever. No, that's not what I mean. We are being called to take action, but however that looks like for you, right? What's on your heart right now? What are you being called to do? For some people, taking action means actually like taking a break, because that's what their intuition is calling them to do, right? So anyways, I hope that example is helpful. And just, another thing here that's coming through is like being more intentional. Like, okay, let's say you chose a word for this year, right? Like every year, beginning of the year, I I put it out there to God that like I'm open to receiving my word for this year. And I'm very intentional about it, and I don't force it. I don't force a word to come to me. I'm not trying to pick a word, and I don't choose it from my ego either. I'm like, okay, what word is my word for this year? And this year for me, I got nourish, and that just felt so good in my body. I am on a healing journey with my physical health. And well, of course, with the physical health, you also gotta take care of your mental, emotional, spiritual health, all that stuff. So for this year, for me, my intention is to nourish myself, my mind, my body, and my soul. Last year, my word was community and family. It was family, but I also felt like there was an aspect of community connected to it. And wow, was that ever spot on for me. And again, I didn't force those words. I didn't personally choose those words. It's the words that came to me of like the medicine I'm going to receive for that year. And last year it was all about community. I did so many community events. I spent more time with my family. Family really came together after the passing of my grandmother, and of course with those things, with any kind of death, it really causes you to reflect and to realize what's truly important in life, and it makes you want to bring the people you love closer to you, things like that. So, and then with all the stuff with my health, I had to rely on my family, I had to rely on my community. I had to open up, I had to force myself to receive support and even financial support, even though that was really difficult for me. It really showed me that I do have a community. I do have so many people around me who love me. It was really incredible. And I'm so grateful for it, despite everything that I faced last year. So anyways, for this year with Nourish, okay, so here's what I'm getting at. I'm like, okay, without forcing, of course, I'm like, what does that look like for me? Or, what small steps can I start taking towards really embodying that word, really welcoming that word into my life, into my body, into my home? And so something I want to start doing is cooking more, cooking more for myself, cooking more for my family, meaning eating way less, significantly less, like takeout and things like that. And another thing is like really limiting coffee. So one thing I was actually gifted this really healthy coffee that has like all these incredible things in it. It's not actually coffee. I don't think there's any caffeine in it. But it tastes like coffee. It's kind of like this muddy, watery coffee drink. Anyways, and like I would love to just start replacing regular coffee with that, or my mushroom coffee. Like I just want to kind of switch certain things out for like healthier alternatives, but without going overboard. Because yeah, I want to find balance with that, and I don't want to, anyways, I still want to live, obviously. And enjoy myself with food and, what I'm consuming, but still making sure that I'm just nourishing myself. And then, maybe being more mindful of what I'm consuming in all aspects, right? Because what we consume is not just food, it's what we listen to, what we see, what we hear, what we read, who we're around. So all these things kind of, are part of it as well. So I have my word sort of as a guide, and I get to be intentional with it. And open myself up to experience opportunities to nourish myself more, and to welcome more of that into my life and just be like mindful of that and actively also try to incorporate that into my life. So, whatever your word is, maybe it's just something, maybe you don't have a word yet. Maybe this is going to inspire you to open yourself up to receive your word. Or if you already have a word, maybe it's something to just kind of sit with a little bit or just kind of play with a little bit. Like, how can I start actively incorporating this into my life, or embodying it, that sort of thing, knowing that it's not just going to get like plopped down on me, and it's not going to happen for me. It's not just going to happen to me. Like, I have a part to play in this, when I was really deep in like new age stuff, not that I'm going to like get too deep into that. That's like a conversation for a whole other time. But I definitely lived in a very delusional reality. And I mean, I think some delusion is actually healthy, right? In order to really keep the faith and really have a vision and really like be like, no, this is going to happen, even if there's no evidence that it's going to happen. That's what I mean by, a healthy dose of delusion. But for a long time, I lived in a very unhealthy, delusional reality where like I forgot that I actually had to nourish and take care of this 3D reality that we're living in. And I'm so grateful, like praising God for plopping me down back on this earth. Although at the time it was just horrendous. At the time it was like, I literally just thought my whole entire world was falling apart. And I mean, I guess that whole reality fell apart. And again, I had no choice but to like face where I was and to accept like, oh yeah, I literally came here to this earth to experience life as a human, and so I need to actually be a human and do very real life things and experience it all and blah, blah, blah. Why did I bring that up again? Oh yeah. Yeah, basically just, I had to, first of all, face the consequences of me having lived in that delusional reality for so long, and everything that was sort of like waiting for me, for when I was ready to finally face it. And what else? I had to see, like, talking about it makes me so anxious. So like my mind's going blank because I just hate revisiting that time in my life, because it just feels like a completely different lifetime, even though it was like 4 years ago. Anyways, just being transparent with you guys. But yeah, I don't even remember. So I'm just going to take a moment to like ground and breathe. It's wild. It's wild how like just, talking about certain periods of your life can affect you like that. Anyways, I feel like it would be really good to do a whole other episode where I talk about that time, but I would love, like, if anyone, like maybe some of you went through it, like where you were super deep into new age and you just kind of left that, or like let go of a lot of things. And this isn't me bashing it or anyone who is super deep into New Age. It's not that. It's just like, it just wasn't for me. It just wasn't for me, and it's not for a lot of people. And I've personally experienced like spiritual psychosis, and it just seems like so many others also experience it when they're super deep into that. And I just found that over time, simplifying my relationship with spirituality, simplifying my spirituality in general, and like my relationship with God, the creator, like it's just supported me in so many ways. Like I don't even know where to start with that. Like that's like a whole series probably. But I'm only going to talk about it if there's people who are actually interested in hearing more, or if people who have questions. You know what I mean? Like I want to make it worth it and know that it's actually going to be supportive for some people. Anyways, I can't even remember how we got here, but I do. Okay, yeah. So, the part where the message that was coming through about this year, right? Breaking free from the chains, but realizing you're the one who put the chains there, and how there's like no magic pill, right? Like you actually have to put things in place. Like you actually have to make the phone calls. You actually have to do the thing, like you have to go out and get it type of thing. I love I love how Spirit's just keeping it so simple and straightforward. I love that. We love that. And then the other thing that was coming through. Okay. So I started following this man who his Instagram handle is I am done being obese, I think. I think that's what his handle is. So he actually started his account on like January 1st, I believe. And that's when he decided, like, I'm done being obese. I'm gonna do something about it. And I just love that Spirit's bringing this up right now. I love that he has just been so realistic about his journey, meaning he's setting himself up for success by creating these smaller, realistic, and doable goals for himself. So like, for example, he's not like immediately joining the gym and like going hard and like killing himself, trying to lose weight. He's like, again, doing this realistically. You got to go check him out. I think his first video, he's like literally walking around the block or something like that. Like that was his first goal. Like, I just want to walk around the block every day until I can do it, and then I'm going to extend it, right? And like that's how you actually set yourself up for success, versus like shooting for the stars right away, and then you like burn yourself out or hurt yourself or whatever. And he's being so open and vulnerable and transparent. And I think it was day 6, he gave himself a rest day, and he explained the importance of a rest day. And I was just like, it's just been so beautiful to watch his journey. And I'm so curious if any of you are following him too. Or maybe you will go follow him now, but like his account blew up because people are like, wow, like he's so friggin' inspiring. And again, it's just so real. And okay, so now I want to see why Spirit was bringing this up, because there's clearly a reason for it. Yeah, okay, the small, tangible realistic goals, right? So when spirit's like, take action, like you got yourself into this own mess, into your own mess, like it's time to, go do the thing, right? There's no magic pill that's going to do it for you. Like you got to do it. Make sure you are setting yourself up for success by doing these smaller, more tangible goals. And the example that's popping into my head right now is like, don't tell yourself you're never going to drink coffee again. No, it's like an addict's mindset of like, just for today. Like, just for today, I'm going to have this dirt water coffee. It's really healthy. Like, just for today, I'm having that. And if tomorrow I decide I want a normal coffee, then that's totally fine, right? We don't need to do any extremes here because that doesn't help anyone. Like, extremes are not healthy at all. Like, why don't you give yourself permission to try differently this time and ease into it, right? And so I think his name is Nathan. Oh my God, I really hope it is. I think it's Nathan. Anyways, from the man from I Am Done Being Obese on Instagram. His first steps were walking around the block. I don't even know if it was the full block or not, but anyways, that was his first step. That was like his first goal. And that may seem like not a big deal to a lot of people. Like, oh no, he should push himself harder. No. Like, what if that for him is like such a big step? What also is coming to mind is, I don't know if you've ever seen Shameless. Oh my God. It doesn't mean you have to watch it, but Sheila from Shameless, okay? So she has like a severe, complex, like anxiety, paranoia disorder where she can't leave the house, okay? So what she did was she set these small goals for like, I'm going to take 10 steps outside today. Okay, she did her 10 steps and she celebrated herself and like that was this big deal. And then the next day she did 15 steps. I don't know if that's actually how it was, but anyways, it's just for the sake of the example that like she just made these smaller goals for herself that were actually attainable. They were actually doable. They were supportive. They were nourishing, and they weren't extremes that actually set her back. And eventually she got to like 250 steps or whatever. And for her, it wasn't about losing weight or anything. For her, it was about literally just getting used to being out of the house again, right? So that's going to look so different for everyone, even for myself. I'm not like going to be super strict or extreme with myself because that wouldn't be healthy for me personally, especially as someone who's suffered in the past with EDs. I need to make sure that I'm setting myself up for success and not telling myself, you can never have this again, or I'm totally cutting this out, or whatever. I have to do it in a way that's nourishing for me. So yeah. So the other thing I'm seeing now, like in the vision, because the beginning I said, it's like this road, and like as you're stepping forward, all this space is opening up. All these like opportunities and possibilities are becoming available. But what I just saw was like someone, they're taking these steps forward and all the space opens up. And when you get there, you're like, oh my God, I had no idea this was here. I had no idea it could feel like this. I had no idea. It's like, so you have no idea because you haven't been there yet. But like, it is there and it is possible, but it's like going to be better than you expected. It's going to be like nothing like you had expected. Because how could you know if you haven't been there? If you're not yet that version of yourself, if you haven't, taken those steps yet. So I'm also seeing how as you do take those steps forward, these changes that happen, they're so significant that they're not only, revealing to you, these opportunities or whatever. Other things around you change that you had no idea would change, but like for the best and like in positive ways. It's like you don't even realize the ripple effect that this one, it's like you think you're, how do I say that? Okay, for example, you are deciding, okay, yeah, I'm going to accept that position at this job. And so you do it, even though you were so scared to do it. You didn't think you were good enough, whatever, but you do it. And then all of a sudden, so many other things in your life start changing. Like your family life gets better, your bank account gets better. Yes, it's more responsibility. Maybe it's, a little bit harder, something like that. I don't know. But it's like you notice like all these things that you didn't realize would change, they do. But it's like for the better, you know? But again, how would you have known that if you were to just stay stuck, like with your make-believe chains stopping you, right? Sorry, it made me giggle a little bit because I keep seeing someone like just literally, just like gently putting these chains around themselves, holding themselves back. So it's like they're imaginary, they're not real, you're not stuck, type of thing. Yeah, just like, if you can't jump, take smaller steps. Like, how are you going to master something unless you just try like the baby version of that, Like, you literally have to just start somewhere. Another example that's coming to me is how, like, since like, oh my God, 2017, 2018, I'd say, like, still kind of in the beginning of my spiritual journey and my development journey as a medium, I would get these visions of me in front of a very large audience, like me standing on a stage at, like, I don't want to say a stadium, but just, like a big arena or something. Like, there just being so many people there. And this vision was just like a reoccurring thing, and it still is. And I even had other people have this vision for me, and bring it up to me, So it's just something that's just always sort of been there. But it's like, okay, but so, oh, I love this example. Yeah. So I could have either waited for the moment where the opportunity came where I'm all of a sudden speaking in front of hundreds, maybe thousands of people. Or I could start to, start small with these smaller group events, start speaking in front of, smaller groups of people and work my way up to that, right? Which seems more realistic. And so, I just love that this is coming up because, yeah, there's been many times where I've had these like visions, or, other people have had visions of them doing something, but then it's like they're waiting for it to happen versus, actively following their intuitive nudges, taking that action, putting things in place to set them up for success so that they can eventually achieve that result or experience that vision, right? So anyways, I started small. I started speaking in front of, smaller groups of people. I remember being terrified of speaking in front of 3 people, right? I did like a small group event. I called it a group event. That's not a group event. Or like a group reading in front of 3 people. That was like so scary to me, like so terrifying. But then I did it. And I felt so much relief after. And I was like, wow, okay, I could do this, And then the next time it was 5 people. And then the next time it was 10 people. And, I stayed kind of there in my comfort zone for a while until eventually I moved up to, 15, 20. I think the most amount of people I've had in an event now has been 50. And that's like a lot, obviously. So, my next goal is like, I don't know, 75, 80. I mean, 100 would be really awesome, but again, I want to be realistic with myself. So like 75 would be incredible. And eventually I'm just going to keep working my way up. So the other thing is I've spoken on a live where there was like 150 people or, even 200 people at one point. But that's different. It really is, because there's such a huge difference between being on a live where you can't see everyone, you're not standing in front of them, you're not, they can't see all of you and you can't see any of them. There's such a huge difference between that and actually physically, energetically being in front of all those people. So, yeah, it's a practice. It's a practice. And eventually, maybe I will master being in front of lots of people. I definitely get way less nervous now. I notice, though, that, like, the more I do them, the less nervous I am. But then if I go a long time without doing one, I get nervous, So last year, like in 2024, I was doing them pretty often, because I had done a bunch the previous year in the fall. So it's like I just did like so many in a row, and that really helped. And then I noticed, like, wow, I'm not even nervous anymore. Like, this is awesome. I'm actually just excited, so, but now it's been a while. And so I'm probably going to be really nervous the next time, even if it is a small number of people, even if it's 20 people or whatever. Actually, even if it's just like a private session, I know I'm probably still going to get nervous, but that's okay. It's nothing like what it was when I first started out. So, yeah, that's how I'm working towards that vision of potentially being in front of hundreds of people someday, if I even get there. But either way, I know that I'm meant to speak in front of people, and that I really enjoy speaking in front of people, even if I'm still really insecure about it and still lack confidence. I'm still doing it because I just love it so much. I love the work that I do, and that's what carries me forward, that love and that passion for what I do, and for being of service in that way and seeing how it impacts people. Like, that's what drives me forward. Yes, it's so uncomfortable. Yes, it would be quote unquote easier, I guess, to not do it. But then is it actually easier if, like, you're not doing the thing you love and you're passionate about? I don't know. I'm rambling now. But I ended up talking about things I literally did not think I would talk about. I didn't expect this episode at all. I thought it was going to be like 10 to 15 minutes, but I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you got something from it. Again, Happy New Year. Thank you for being here. As I mentioned before, like, if you want to hear about those things, invite me, okay? The projector in me would love that very much so. To talk about just the whole spiritual psychosis thing, and how I let go of certain, or why, I don't know, let go of certain new age things. And yeah, I don't know. It must have come up for a reason. Anyways, I hope you have a wonderful week, and I'm sending you so much love, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.